Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel where I make videos about clowns and things that I find interesting. So today is going to be something different than the past few videos because this is a topic that I really enjoy. This is a topic I feel I know a decent amount about. And I feel like I could give a pretty decent opinion on it. So, we will be discussing the found footage horror movie genre. We'll be focusing specifically on the horror movie aspect of found footage, because there is other versions of found footage, like comedy and stuff. So, anyways, so yeah, without further ado, I guess we'll start with the definition. And as always, I have my trusted notes here. I used many different sources by Google and Tubi, because Tubi has a really decent selection of found footage horror, and I would definitely recommend it because it's free. So a found footage horror movie is a film technique where the story is portrayed through the form of a camera through first or third person perspective. It's usually a handheld camera, phone, security cameras, or like a news cast or something of that nature that's been found, and now it's being used in a way that it has somehow been found and now you are watching it. And it wasn't supposed to ever come out, kind of thing. So, let's talk about a couple of the really famous ones. So when I think the first thing to a lot of people, especially like my age, people that kind of first saw the Blair Witch Project when they were younger and really resonated with them, that's the first thing I think about. And then I think about Paranormal Activity, because that was the second thing that was like really, really brought it. Like the Blair Witch brought it and nobody else could ever do it like that. And then a few years later, pretty much Paranormal Activity did it, and then they did it in a way where it became really like a lot easier to make a story come true through perspective of like somebody has a camera in a house and they're trying to capture a haunting. That's like the most typical thing you'll see these days. But there's a lot of different found footage films, and I'm here to talk to you about all the different ones. So I guess let's start with we have like the Cannibal Holocaust movie. That's definitely found footage. Definitely would recommend it if you're okay with gore, or there's a lot of things that happen in that movie. To be fair, a lot of these are horror movies, so there's gonna be some fuck shit in them. Some of them are much worse than others, like Cannibal Holocaust is definitely more extreme than Paranormal Activity is. So if you're not into extreme, definitely check out Paranormal Activity. If you're more into like getting into the deep, grindy parts of it, watch Cannibal Holocaust. You also have The Unbinding, which is a great film. It's kind of shot in the perspective of interviews documenting a couple that are haunted items collectors, and they find an item that they have to return back. So I'm going to try to not spoil these for you. The only one that'll definitely get spoiled is, well, I'm not really going to spoil it, I'm just going to tell you in depth about the Blair Witch Project. And, okay, spoiler alert, it wasn't actually real. Okay? So don't act like me telling you the story of how the Blair Witch Project became so popular is spoiling it, because it's really not. And the ones that are newer, I promise I'm going to do my best not to spoil. Just give like an overview. So then, obviously, Paranormal Activity is the haunted found footage house movie, like the one that everybody wants to be like. That when it came out, it was fucking insane. It was so scary. I mean, some people obviously thought it was cheesy, but I was really young and I thought it was really scary. So then they kind of spiraled out of control with how many they have now. I don't know if I made a note of how many they actually have now. I think it's like 9. I could be wrong, man. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. But they could have stopped at 3, because the first one was, okay, spoiler alert for fucking Paranormal Activity. I can't believe I'm doing this. It's been like 20 years since it came out now. But, spoiler alert, so the first Paranormal Activity movie is about Katie and Misha, and they live in a house together, and they're like a married couple. Misha gets a camera because there had been hauntings happening in their house, so he sets up the camera at night in their bedroom, and he has like tried different little rituals to talk to the ghost and see different stuff, and it escalates each and every night. And there's some really scary fucking parts, to be honest. The part where the fucking footprints go on the ground, it's scary to me. It's fucking scary. That's a scary thing to think about happening to you. Like, imagine if that were you. And it's not even human footprints. They're like duck-shaped footprints. And it's like, oh my god, this fucking demon is possessing this house. And then at the end, he possesses Katie, and she kills Misha. And then, spoiler alert for part 2, she goes to her sister's house and kills her family. And then it just goes rampant from there. I couldn't tell you everything. That'd have to be its own whole video if I were to tell you the entire lore of Paranormal Activity. That would be insane. That would be too much for me right now. Like I said, I really do like the original 3, maybe even 4, but at that point, it just got to be too much. They kind of had a new one that was like interesting because it was based in a Amish town. That one is interesting, for sure. Not very good, to be honest, but very interesting nonetheless. You also have As Above, So Below. That one is definitely one of my favorites. It's about a team of, I don't know what they are, investigators that go into the Paris catacombs, and they witness some insane fucking shit. It's crazy, surreal, weird as fuck, creepy, found footage. That's always like a plus on my list. And then we have something that's kind of really similar, in my opinion, would be VHS. And there's a lot of different VHSs, but most of them, in my opinion, have been pretty hit. Like, there's maybe one every, like, few, because, you know, it's an anthology series, so there's tiny little episodes of, or whatever, shorts or something, you know, like tiny little bits and pieces of different stories. And there's some really, really good ones. There's some okay ones, and it's definitely worth a watch if you're a fan. VHS 84 is my personal favorite. It's super fucking creepy, and it's really good. So check that one out if you're into that shit. You also have Rec, which is essentially the original version of Quarantine, but Rec is in Spanish, I'm pretty sure, and they're pretty much like, they're like side by side, almost the same, honestly. Like, I haven't watched either of them in quite some time, but they're very fucking similar. They have like almost a similar plot line, or like a news reporter gets trapped in a quarantine building or something, and it's full of like monsters. There you go. um, you have ones that are like Lake Mungo, which is a really interesting take on the found footage film because I think it might be a real place, and it's shot in the form of kind of like a Ghost Adventures type, not even Ghost Adventures because it's not like Grave Encounters, which is like Ghost Adventures. It's like one of those ghost TV shows where somebody's like recounting a haunting to you, but it's about a girl going missing and the lake and everything, and it's super interesting and weird. So not that I guess I've already mentioned it, Grave Encounters is a pretty decent one as well. A lot of these do fall under the possessed paranormal, because that just seems to be what this found footage kind of gets drawn toward. And I couldn't really tell you why. It's definitely works for it. It has kind of gotten to a point where it got so popular at one point, where now it's like you have to find new ways to do found footage, or like new perspectives and stuff. The paranormal thing has kind of been played out, but the last one that I will definitely recommend in the paranormal subgenre of found footage horror is The Taking of Deborah Logan. That's an exorcism film. Oh yeah, and exorcism films also fall into the religious, paranormal, dark arts type thing that goes on a lot. I think it's because they're trying to make it feel more personal by making you like watch it happen in first person. I don't know though. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. So then you think about it, right? And you go back, and then there's a TV segment, I guess. I think it's I don't know, maybe a movie at this point. I don't know. Called Ghost Watch, and it was a news segment that aired on the BBC and it wasn't real, but it was shot and cast as a news reporter reporting the town getting like haunted by spirits and ghosts and crazy shit happening. So that was a very interesting take on it. And then found horror is a whole nother thing that I will dabble a little bit into here. So found horror, you think books, things like Dracula and Frankenstein are found footage horror, but they're not footage, so it's just found literature, I guess. But these are first-person accounts of these horror events and of scary, paranormal, weird, dark art stories. I definitely recommend reading both of those books. They're very good, especially for somebody who loves the found footage, first-person type thing. It's super well written. It's a classic. You know, if you're going to call yourself a horror fan, you might as well read the books. They're pretty legit. I really do enjoy them. Frankenstein is one of my like all-time top favorite stories of all time, ever. So I definitely would recommend reading the original literature. So then the other, I don't even know what to call this one, but I'm putting in a different category. You have a movie called Behind the Sightings, and it's about the clown sightings that happened in like 2016 or whatever, and people were seeing clowns all around the town like with weapons or whatever. They were just like scaring people, and there's a movie about it. It's a found footage. It's pretty decent, honestly. It's very indie. It's got a very unique plot line, which I can fucks with as a enjoyer of found footage. Unique perspectives, unique storylines, unique techniques. Those all draw me in more to different horror movies. And some of them, sure, like the classic haunting movie, whatever. But this one, I guess it is kind of a paranormal movie, but like, I don't really want to spoil it because it's so good. I want you to go watch it and see how it goes for you. But This one is called Hell House LLC. This one has changed into a franchise. I'm talking about the original one because I don't think I've watched any of the other ones. But the original one is really, really good. It's about a team of haunters that go to work at a haunted house, and it's haunted, like actually haunted, because it's an abandoned building, but they're going to work at a haunted house for like a Halloween show, and real things start happening, and it's got clowns, and it's scary, and it's got paranormal, it's got funny, it's got indie, it's super fucking good. Definitely would recommend that one. And then I guess I don't really want to recommend this one because it's kind of like, I don't recommend it, to be honest, because it's not my type of movie that I watch for fun. It's more like absolutely horrifying in a pretty gross, in like a really weird way, right? But if you're into freaky weird shit like Cannibal Holocaust, it's called the Poughkeepsie Tapes, and it's pretty much the video journal of like a killer in a town. It gets really fucked up. Definitely huge trigger warning for pretty much fucking everything. It's super scary. Definitely the scariest type of horror to me is like stalkers and abduction, because that's like actually real, you know, like a fucking demon possessing my house is much less common than somebody getting stalked and murdered. So, you know, just saying. Many of these horror franchises, such as like Paranormal Activity became a franchise, then you have like The Last Exorcism, I think that has a couple of films, I could be wrong. There's like a million paranormal found footage films. There's literally countless. I couldn't tell you every single one right now. There's way too many Paranormal Activity movies. Blair Witch was so good that they didn't even make the second one a found footage movie. They knew they couldn't capture it the same way, so they didn't do it. Isn't that interesting? So now that we've covered all of that, I kind of want to dive more into the Blair Witch Project and the whole commodity of it all. Because I am only 26, so I wasn't alive for the media frenzy, essentially, from what I understand at least. I could be wrong, but people, the way they talk about it to me, have been like, it was crazy, we all thought they were dead, we thought they got lost in the woods. So, yeah, it was pretty insane. I got some notes from the internet about it, so I hope they're all true. Feel free to fact check me if these are wrong. I tried my best here. It started as being really, really real, right? To confuse the audience and blur the lines of reality and fiction, they had a website launched 2 months before the release of the movie. And then on the website they had fictional police reports, newspaper articles, interviews, and it was all designed to look like it was made by a group of students. It had realistic looking missing flyers for all the characters. So they launched the website in a way that made it look like it was a student-made website about these people going missing. And then 2 months later, the movie came out, and none of these actors were in anything for a while until they won an award for it, and then they all came out on stage, and everybody was like, it's crazy stuff, really. It's quite intriguing the way they do it. And apparently it was kind of one of like the first movies of the kind to really use the internet in a way that promoted their movie. insanely. They like, they did something I don't think anybody's ever going to be able to do again. Which is sad because that's cool. And I was living in that reality when my first few found footage films that I saw, you know, Paranormal Activity as a fucking 6-year-old. You're like, this is real. This is real. This is really going to happen to me. Now that I've seen this movie, it's haunting me, it's following me, and it's real. And that's how it feels to see it as a child. So, I definitely was scared as fuck. And then I watched Blair Witch. And it has scared me so bad. Honestly, it scared me so bad. And even now, it's creepy as hell, honestly. I find it to be super creepy. Just creepy as fuck. Horrible situation they get caught up in. And it's absolutely insane. So the whole kind of story is that 3 filmmaking students or whatever go out into the wilderness of Maryland to go do like a project on the Blair Witch, which is like an urban legend from the area. So they have some interviews at first with local people, videos of them talking to each other, and then they go out into the forest. And even to this day, people still don't really know what it's about. There's constantly people with different perspectives and different ideas of what it's actually about, how it actually ended, what's actually happening. And it's very fucking interesting. Like, that is the goal. For me, if I ever make a horror movie, that is the goal. Honest to God, I don't give a fuck. That's the goal. Because that's awesome. And having it stick around, and having it confuse people, and having it make people think every single time they watch it, what the fuck's going on right now? Try to piece all the little pieces together in a way that makes sense to them, and then it becomes this whole thing that nobody actually knows what it's about. And I find that very awesome. And so essentially these filmmakers get lost in the woods, and they start to lose their shit, and then the Blair Witch is evidently haunting them while they're lost in the woods and they cannot find their way out. Then they find themselves in the Blair Witch lair, I guess you could call it, and it kind of just ends there in a weird, freaky type of way that you've probably seen on pictures and stuff. Yeah, it's very interesting. I know I've said interesting like 6 times, but it really is. And you usually see found footage shot in ways of surveillance, first person perspective, screen life, which is like a whole other thing I haven't talked about yet. Oh my gosh. So then you have things like Unfriended and like Spree and stuff, and so Unfriended and Spree are actually a lot different from each other, but they're also sort of similar. So friend request, what's it called? Fuck, I don't remember anymore. Anyways, so you have ones that are shot in ways that are like 3 people here, 3 people here, in like a Zoom call. And they're being haunted by a ghost. Digital EMS is with them, it kills them off one by one, and by the end, one is left, and it's like, I am the ghost of Christmas past! And then it like ends or something, you know? So, and then you have Spree. Spree is a very interesting one because it is about a Uber driver, and it's like a dash cam shot point of view one. Oh my gosh, my cat is joining us. You can't see her, but she's being perfect. Wendy, look at her ears right there. Hey, Wendy, Wendy. He's such a baby. He's just a baby. And I've always loved found footage movies. A very memorable one would be The Sacrament, which is made by the same guy who made Cannibal Holocaust, and Green Inferno, I guess, is one of them too, but Eli Roth, and he's just like a big horror movie guy if you've never heard of him. Check out his shit. He's made a bunch of movies, he's done cameos. He's a decent guy, I guess, probably. I wouldn't really know, I've never met him. But he seems pretty interesting. I'll say that. Another interesting one is Late Night with the Devil. That definitely is found footage, but it's shot in form of like a found TV show. Like an episode of a TV show. Kind of, I think. I'm not gonna lie, I fell asleep during that because I was really tired. But that's what I gathered. And then you could go all the way back to Shirley Clarke's The Connection. And that may actually be the true original found footage movie. I digress. Another good one is The House That October Built. It's very interestingly found footage in a way that I can't even really explain how I mean that, honestly, but essentially it's about a horror, it's about a haunted house where the actors are actually killers, and they kill some girl, and it's like a whole thing. Another really interesting version of a found footage movie that I find to be incredibly fucking terrifying is The Third Kind. I think that's what it's called. It's kind of like a found footage alien film, but instead of being like classic found footage, essentially they created a fake story where they had two sets of actors, where one was the real actor, or one was the real person it happened to, and one is the actor version. And this was also done in American Horror Story, Roanoke. It was very similar, but it's incredibly scary. It's very scary, honestly. I find it to be incredibly terrifying. And yeah, it's just really off-putting and freaky, to say the least. Definitely recommend it. And of course, we can't talk about found footage films without talking about lost tapes, because all the fucking weirdos know about fucking lost tapes, man. That shit was awesome. That was awesome. It's sad it doesn't exist anymore. I think they're all on YouTube now, so there's that. It's a found footage style documentary series about the Chupacabra, Dracula, zombies, werewolves, zombies, anything you could possibly think of in that realm of reality, really. They were making a bunch of different documentary short style, like a Animal Planet kind of style thing, but it was also made of found footage stuff, so it was really, really interesting and cool concept. And I guess kind of falling in the same house as the Poughkeepsie tapes, you have Megan is Missing, or it's like a story about two young girls who are talking to older guys online, and one goes missing. You have Fear.net, which I assume is similar, but I wouldn't really know. I haven't actually watched it yet. Honestly, movies kind of lose my interest if there's a lot of overly done violence that's not really, like, justified in any way. Like, I understand it's never justified, but, like, it's not like the slasher killing some girl's abusive boyfriend or something, you know. It's never that. Honestly, it's never that. But it's, yes, but even though it's never that, it's not always super fucking cringe. Just like countless moments of horrible physical violence against people that look just like you. It's so scary when that happens. I lose interest so quick. If it's like kind of based around that type of thing, like stalker movies and stuff, I find them really scary, but they are so scary to the point where I stop paying attention and lose focus and just don't care about them anymore, to be honest. So yeah, check out my cool new shirt. Support your local drive-ins, support your local theaters. They typically have cheaper tickets than big companies, and they show cooler stuff. And they're probably in cool little theaters that have lots of personality and beautiful vintage aesthetic. So definitely support your local theater before it's too late. Colorado has lost one of our very nice local theaters recently. I guess it's been like a year now or longer, maybe. It's been longer. That's crazy. But we lost the Esquire to people wanting to build restaurants and apartments because it wasn't making enough money. So by all means, check out your local landmark theaters. They are everywhere, and that's what the Esquire was. We have one in Denver called the Mayan. That's really nice. If you're ever in Denver, you should check it out. They show a bunch of really interesting movies. They do throwback movies. They do... Hold on. They do throwback movies, and they do a bunch of different stuff. We're lucky to have a drive-in here. We have a couple, but the one that I went to was called the 88 Drive-In in Commerce City, Colorado. I actually took myself, and it was fun until the car battery died, and then it stopped being fun, and I left because they jumped my car for free. But I bought a shirt because I wanted to support them. It was really cheap, and you get 2 movies out of it. You sometimes, when I was a kid, I think they used to show 3. So yeah, definitely check it out. See if there's one in your area, someone you can get to. See if your friends want to go. Have a night out. Watch a movie on the fucking big screen for once. Be nice to each other, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.